Before we get started creating our first shared library item, we need to understand the relationship between source documents and slave documents. Our source document is the FLA file that contains the content or the symbol specifically that we want to share amongst other FLA files in our project. In this particular case, the mecarlogo.fla file serves as our source file since it contains the movie clip of the logo that we need for our two banners. With the mecarlogo.fla file forward, go over to the right side of your workspace and bring the library panel forward. You'll see that this document contains a single movie clip named Logo, and this contains the artwork from the mecar logo that we're going to need. Our slave documents are actually going to be our two banner files. In other words, these files will be sharing or using content from our mecar logo file. Let's get started and create our first shared library item by bringing the car sale 300 by 250 banner forward by clicking its tab up top. The first step in creating a shared library item is to actually create a placeholder symbol in the slave documents library. This will act as a container for any shared or source content that we're going to bring in from another FLA or SWF file. In this case, let's go over to the library panel, and at the very bottom, go ahead and click the New Symbol icon. This opens up the Create New Symbol dialog box. So we're going to follow the same steps we normally would to create a new empty symbol from scratch. In the name field, go ahead and enter the name of logo_shared. Now, while this is an arbitrary name, the idea behind shared is that I do want to create some way that I can distinguish shared symbols in my library from regular symbols. There's actually no visual indicator, interestingly enough, by default in the library panel. So here we can come up with a basic naming convention, for instance, _shared, that lets us know that the contents of this symbol are actually being pulled from another FLA file. Leave the type set as movie clip to match the type from our source document, and what we're going to do is actually click that Advanced button in the lower right-hand corner. This expands the Create New Symbol dialog box and shows us all of the advanced options at the bottom, and what we're going to do is specifically go down to the source options. The source options let us specify what the source for our symbol will be. In this particular case, it's actually going to be a symbol from another document's library. It's going to be our job to tell Flash which document we want to pull the source content from, and specifically which symbol in that document's library. To do this, go ahead and click the Browse button first to locate the file that contains our shared symbol, and select the mecarlogo.fla file in this chapter's folder, and click Open. From here, the Select Source Symbol dialog box appears, and this gives us a listing of all of the symbols in our source documents library. In this case, there's only one, as we saw earlier, which is this single movie clip named Logo. Go ahead and click and select it, and we'll see a small preview of it on the left. And we're now going to tell Flash that this symbol actually is going to provide the content for our shared symbol in our banner file. Go ahead and click OK. Click OK once more to exit the Create New Symbol dialog box and create your shared symbol. Now, let's take a look at the library panel for our document. We'll see a brand new movie clip has been added called Logo_shared. And if we look at the preview area at the top of the panel, it actually shows us the content as we would see it in the source file. Now, we can work with this symbol exactly like we would with any other symbol. We can drag it to the stage, we can modify instances using transformations and color tints, and so on. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Go ahead and drag an instance of the Logo_shared movie clip onto the stage and position it in the top center, just like I'm doing here. Now, the nice thing is we can work with instances of this symbol just like we would with a local or non-shared symbol. Let's go ahead and play with this a little bit by increasing its size to make it fit better with the banner and maybe applying a filter. Go up to Modify with the symbol selected. Choose Transform, Scale, and Rotate. From here, enter a value of 120%. In my case, it's already typed in there. And click OK, and this will increase the symbol size just a little bit. Now, bring your properties forward on the right side and locate the filter options at the bottom of the Properties panel. We already know that since we're working with a movie clip that we can freely apply live filters to that movie clip. So let's go ahead and do that to enhance this logo a little bit. Go down to the bottom of the Filters panel and click the Add Filter button. From here, go ahead and select the Glow filter. Now, you can set this any way you want, but for the sake of example, what I'm going to do is go up and set my Blur X and Blur Y to 10 pixels. I'm going to set my quality to medium. And I'm going to click on this color chip, and I'm going to set a light blue color for my glow. So we'll see that working with shared symbols is pretty much as easy as working with non-shared symbols. Let's go ahead and do this exact same thing for our 720 by 90 banner, which also needs to make use of our logo. Go up top and bring the car sale 720 by 90.fla file forward. And here we're going to take the exact same approach. First thing we want to do, of course, is at the bottom in our timeline panel, make sure the Me Car logo that's been set up for you already is selected, since we do need an unlocked layer to place our new logo on. And once again, go over to the library panel on the right side and bring it forward. Now from here, we're going to follow the exact same methods. We're going to go down to the very bottom and click the new symbol icon. And this once again opens up the Create New Symbol dialog box. From here, we're going to follow pretty much the same naming convention. In the name field, let's go ahead and assign this the name of logo_shared. Under type, we're going to leave it set to movie clip to match our source symbol. And at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and link this up to our original Me Car logo file by going to our source options and clicking the Browse button. From here, we can select the mecarlogo.fla file in our chapter folder and set that as our source and click Open. When the Select Source Symbol dialog box appears, go ahead and select Logo. I think it's the one symbol we've got in there, and click OK to exit this. So again, we're specifying the exact same source document as we did in our 300 by 250 banner and the exact same symbol. Both of our banners are now using the same source logo from the same source file. Now before we click OK, let's go back down to our source options on the bottom. We'll see that there's a small checkbox underneath that reads Always Update Before Publishing. We left this unchecked in our 300 by 250 banner, but for this banner, we're actually going to check this off. This checkbox tells Flash that whenever this document is published, whether through an export, a formal publish, or through test movie, that it first needs to look back to the original source document, make sure no changes have occurred to that symbol, and if they have, to update our shared symbol before publishing the document. This makes sure that if any changes have been made to the logo in our source file, that our banner file is updated first before the movie is published. This makes sure that this document is always in tune with the original source document. Leave this checked and go ahead and click OK. Now, just like we did for our 300 by 250 banner, go back down to your library and drag an instance of Logo Shared onto the stage. And take a moment to position it in the right-hand corner here. So what we've done here is we've created a shared symbol relationship between two slave files, in this case our two banner files that are part of our project, and our Me Car logo file, which contains the master logo. We're going to see in a moment how updating our original logo actually filters down to the remaining slave files. This creates a great workflow because anytime a master asset is updated, it now updates several documents. So it's pretty much the strength of what we're already used to with symbols in terms of updates and changes, but we can now apply this to multiple FLA files at once. So this is actually a very powerful project management feature, and it makes sure that artwork that's shared amongst multiple files in a project is consistent and up to date at all times.